No one showed up at the millionaire's daughter's birthday party. Not one friend. Just an empty room filled with balloons, an untouched cake, and a little girl waiting in silence. But when a poor black boy walked in and whispered, "Can I join you?" that single moment changed everything and led to a courtroom battle that exposed dark secrets in one of the wealthiest families in America. Stay with me, because what happens next will leave you speechless. The sound of the clock ticking echoed through the mansion's grand hall. Pink and white balloons floated near the ceiling, their strings brushing against glittery tablecloths. A towering castle-shaped birthday cake sat untouched in the center of the table, surrounded by plates that were still perfectly stacked. Emma, the birthday girl, sat in her wheelchair wearing a sparkling tiara. She looked down at the frosting on her plate, tracing circles with her spoon. Her big blue eyes were clouded with disappointment. "Daddy," she asked softly, "when are my friends coming?" Robert Mitchell, one of the richest CEOs in the state, stood near the French windows, his jaw tight as he stared out at the driveway. His expensive Rolex read 4:15 p.m. The party had started 2 hours ago. Every invitation had been sent. Every detail had been planned to perfection. But not a single child had shown up. He clenched his fists, swallowing the lump in his throat. For all his wealth, for all his power, he couldn't give his daughter the one thing she wanted most: friends. Before we begin, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more true stories that will touch your heart. Robert was about to suggest they cut the cake anyway when a small knock came at the door. It was so soft, they almost didn't hear it. Emma's head shot up. "Daddy, someone's here." Her voice trembled with hope. Robert hurried to the door, his heart pounding. When he opened it, he saw a little boy standing on the marble porch. His clothes were worn and a little dirty, his sneakers scuffed, and his small hands clutched a crumpled piece of paper. "Hi, sir," the boy said nervously. I saw the balloons. Is it okay if I join the party?" Robert blinked in surprise. "What's your name, son?" "Jamal," he replied with a shy smile. "I live down the street." For a moment, Robert hesitated. This was his daughter's big day, and this boy, well, he wasn't on the guest list. But then he glanced back at Emma, who was practically glowing with excitement. "Please, Daddy," she whispered. Robert stepped aside and forced a smile. "Come in, Jamal." What Robert didn't know was that this simple act would lead to the biggest scandal of his life and drag him into a courtroom showdown that the entire state would talk about for months. Jamal didn't just join the party, he saved it. He played games with Emma, sang songs with her, and even made her laugh so hard she nearly toppled out of her chair. For the first time that day, the mansion felt alive. Robert watched from a distance, something stirring in his chest. He didn't know this boy, but the kindness in his eyes was something money could never buy. When the party ended, Emma hugged Jamal tightly and whispered, "You're my best friend." Robert smiled, but fate had other plans. The next morning, Robert received a call that nearly made him drop his coffee. "Robert," hissed Patricia Vanderbilt, one of his wealthiest investors, "I heard about the party. You let some random kid from the streets in? Do you have any idea how this looks?" Robert frowned. "Patricia, he's just a child. He's trouble," she snapped. "If people find out, it'll ruin your reputation. Your daughter's party was a disaster, and now this? End it, or I'll make sure your company pays for your poor judgment." Robert hung up, his hands trembling with rage. He couldn't believe the venom in her voice. But Patricia wasn't bluffing. She had power, enough to destroy everything he'd built. So Robert did something he would regret forever. He told Jamal not to come back. A week later, Jamal showed up at the mansion with a handmade card for Emma. But before he could ring the bell, Robert stormed outside. "Jamal, listen," he said coldly. "You can't come here anymore." The boy's smile faded. Did I do something wrong?" Robert looked away. "This is for the best." Then, in a moment of weakness and arrogance, he added words that would haunt him later. "Kids like you don't belong here." Emma saw it all from her window. Tears streamed down her cheeks as Jamal walked away, clutching the card to his chest. Robert thought the matter was over. But Patricia wasn't done with him yet, and neither was Karma. 2 months later, Robert sat in a courtroom, sweat dripping down his collar. Across the room stood Jamal and his mother, flanked by a sharp-eyed attorney. "Mr. Mitchell," the lawyer said, her voice slicing through the silence. "Is it true that you publicly humiliated a minor and told him he didn't belong because of his background?" Robert's throat tightened. "That's not what I—" The lawyer raised a hand. "I have video footage, Mr. Mitchell. From your own security cameras." Gasps echoed through the courtroom. The clip played on a large screen. Robert's voice, cold and sharp, "Kids like you don't belong here." Patricia smirked from the gallery, enjoying every second of Robert's downfall. But then, the lawyer spoke again. "One more thing, Your Honor," she said, turning toward Patricia. "We have evidence that this woman, She pointed directly at Patricia, threatened Mr. Mitchell, and manipulated this entire situation to serve her own financial interests. The judge's gavel slammed down. Order in the court. The room erupted. Cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled furiously. In the end, the judge ruled in favor of Jamal's family and exposed Patricia's corruption. Robert's empire took a hit, but he didn't care, because something far more important happened that day. When the trial was over, Robert walked up to Jamal and his mother. His voice cracked as he said, "I'm sorry for everything." Jamal looked up at him, then smiled softly. "It's okay, Mr. Mitchell. Emma needs a friend. And so do you." Robert blinked back tears. For the first time in years, he felt human. From that day on, Jamal wasn't just Emma's best friend, he became family. And Robert? He learned that the true measure of wealth isn't in bank accounts or stock options. It's in kindness, loyalty, and the courage to do what's right. What did you think about this story? Was Robert wrong for what he said? Or was Patricia the real villain all along? Let us know in the comments below. And if this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful true stories that will inspire you. Thank you for watching. And remember, sometimes the smallest act of kindness can spark the biggest change.